Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome back to the place to race, Simsport Racing, here on a Wednesday evening. Welcoming you all to the third round of GT4 Season 3. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, and alongside me, as always, one of the founders of Simsport Racing, Steve Proudley, joins me in the virtual commentary box here in the Eifel regions. Good evening, Steve. How are we?
Yeah, good evening, Alex. I'm very, very well. Thank you very much, and hope you're well and looking forward to some fantastic racing tonight for what I believe is round 3 at the Nurburgring. The rounds just tick by so quickly, I almost struggle to keep up.
Especially when we've now hit the halfway point of the season. So another 3 rounds after this one. The 4th round will head to the home of British Motorsport at Silverstone on the 25th of November. But looking at the results from Suzuka, Karolis Sipavicius took the victory at Suzuka last time out after a ding-dong battle between him and Team Fordzilla's Charlie Crossland in the number 66. Tim Fullbrook came back and took 3rd place ahead of Rich Smith, Yannick Muller, Regan Mitchell, Adam Isolovic, Stephen Haley, Aidan Bro, who had a highlight reel and a half, let's be completely honest, around the hairpin at Suzuka, ahead of Ibrahim Al-Alawi, who rounded out the top 10 positions. And the drivers now on their formation lap, but Steve Haley leads by just 3 points coming into the halfway point of the season, ahead of the number 76 of Rich Smith, with Adam Isolovic, Karolis Sipavicius, Charlie Crossland and Aidan Bro. That spread is incredibly close. That's 17 points covering the top 6, ahead of Aaron Walker, Tim Fullbrook, Regan Mitchell, Kieran Vidago, Simon Wilkes, Yannick Muller, Gerard DeBar, Chris Pinchbeck and Angus Martin rounding out the top 15 positions. And Simply Race have had their lead in the team's championship standings demolished a little bit, down to 22, courtesy of Apex Motorsport. Markada Racing will only have one driver in the form of Adam Isolovic in this evening. They're 3rd ahead of Investigation Team. HF Impala rounding out the top 5 ahead of Simbro Sport, Black Mamba Racing, Midlands Triple R, Root Peg Brewing and Dunn Motorsports. 45 minutes set to get underway very, very shortly around the 3.199 mile, 5.148 kilometre circuit. And Steve, the grid is going to be very, very interesting indeed. Dave Hedges will start from pole position ahead of Richard Emery. Then it's Ollie Gill, Simon Wilkes, Robbie Stapleford, Ibrahim Al-Alawi, Aidan Bro, Stephen Haley, Adam Isolovic, Regan Mitchell, Yannick Muller, Rich Smith, Tim Fullbrook, Charlie Crossland and Karolis Sipavicius rounding out the top 15. An incredibly competitive field all the way down to 37th. And Aaron Walker's got the biggest amount of work to do because he's starting down in 33rd place this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. And well done there, Alex. You got all that information out faster than a qualifying lap. That was really impressive. But no, I mean, yeah, it's a really, really competitive grid. The reverse top 15 works really well. It makes the guys have to really work for something. Obviously, last week's winner is starting in 15th. And we're going to see some really, really close battling this evening. There's been a few alterations to ACC. It has just received an update today with some new cars, a new track. But more importantly, I believe there's been some alterations to the tyre models. So the lads have got to get and the lasses, not forgetting Denise, have got to get their heads around those, the tyre issues. They may be a little bit unfamiliar with how they're going to react at the start, in the middle or at the end of the race. Not quite sure because nobody's had a lot of time to test.
Indeed, so it will be a tough test around the 3.2 mile circuit. On the bottom right hand corner of your screen you can see Ollie Gill pulling alongside Richard Emery. Don't forget you can head to our relevant social media channels on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're also on the web, so head to www.simsport-racing.com. Now, Dave Hedges and Richard Emery will be the 2 drivers at the front of the field, controlling the pace. 15 degrees air temperature, 19 degrees track temperature. It is at optimum. A far cry from some of the rounds we've had here on Simsport Racing. We've gone green. They've pushed the accelerators hard to the floor, and it looks like Hedges has got the initial jump on the rest of the field. Gill looking up the inside of Emery, going through into the Haughaken for the first time. Looks like he's got up the inside of the 115. But it's all kicking off behind. Aidan Bro's had an absolute stormer. He's already up into 5th, and he's looking to try and put it round the outside of Richard Emery. You've got the 81 there of Robbie Stapleford. He's now gone up the inside of Ollie Gilles, and that is going through the exit part of the Mercedes Arena. So Gilles down to 4th place. Emery 3rd place. Emery down to 4th. Bro is catching them, and that looks to be the number 1 of the defending champion in the KTM Crossbow from Simply Race, Steve Haley.
Yeah, absolutely cracking start from all the boys there, and boys and girls, and really good racing. Dave Hedges really did well to get it stopped into turn 1, because we know that Maserati is a handful, and especially on the opening laps. But as we can see, he's really getting his head down now, and he's trying to get the lap times in. But it's looking like Stapleford in 2nd place is not going to let him go, and he's going to keep some pressure on him now, as the guys are all still pretty close. And looking back as far as Steve Haley there, he's hustling. He's looking like he's wanting to follow the guys through and make some headway at this time.
Yes, indeed. So please just bear with us whilst we wait for the times to adjust. So it has just reverted itself back to normal. So Dave Hedges in the investigation team number 88 Maserati MC Competizione, leading the way by just over 0.6 of a second. But Robbie Stapleford looking rather hot to trot here. Ollie Gilles closing up in the Porsche. There is Steve Haley, and he's got Yannick Müller breathing down the back of his rear wing at the minute as they now make their way through. And this is heading into the far part of the circuit. As Aidan Bro, this is going to go into, that's through NGK, through into Coca-Cola. Emery leaves the door wide open for Aidan Bro.
Emery had a mistake going through the chicane. He basically took too much curb and ran wide, and that led to leaving that door open for Aidan Bro. So Aidan's not going to need a second invitation, is he?
No, not with the calibre that he has, as Ollie Gilles goes late on the brakes on Robbie Stapleford into the Haken. We're now just under 2.5 minutes. Oh, mistake from Hedges, and that has let the door open for both Gilles and Stapleford, but none of them able to capitalise. Yannick Müller trying to put it around the outside of Steve Haley, as it looks like Emery is dropping like the proverbial stone as Adam Isalovic tries to get through, and Emery gets a tag from Regan Mitchell for his troubles. Looks like Tim Fullbrook's just behind there too.
And Stapleford's taken the lead, but not only is Stapleford taking the lead going through the Mercedes Arena, Ollie Gilles followed him through as well. So in the matter of 2 corners, Dave Hedges has gone from 1st to 3rd. So it's looking like Stapleford is going to try and get his head down now and make a gap on the rest of the guys. But yeah, fantastic driving from Stapleford and Ollie Gilles there, and just really unlucky for Dave Hedges.
Top 10 currently covered by just over 3.6 seconds as we are on lap number 2 here at the Nurburgring, the Grand Prix track. And there is Yannick Müller, as looks like there's a bit of damage there on the front of the number 69 of Regan Mitchell. That front end of that Maserati slightly stoved in as he's gone side by side with Adam Isalovic. But Mitchell still in front. It looks like Emery's dropping, and he's coming under fire from Ibrahim Al-Alawi. As that's not what Dave Hedges wanted. He went completely wide there when that was going through into the approach. I think that was down towards Dunlop.
It was, and Aidan Bro's got through, and it's allowing Steve Haley to attack now as well. But I'm not sure the little KTM's going to have the legs down here. But Adam Zalovic is there as well. Yannick Müller, all battling hard. Haley's lost it. He's lost it.
Through the Schumacher exit, through the NGK chicane, Steve Haley, absolutely perfect car control there. He could have lost the back end, and that could have been a disaster for him. But I'm just wondering at the moment, his teammate, Aaron Walker, already up from 33rd to 19th position. So that KTM has got some pace.
Yeah, Aaron does really need a good race tonight to get himself back into that top 15 to benefit from the reverse grid. So a good solid drive from Aaron's what's required. Stay out of trouble. Looking like Charlie Crossland's been involved in some early trouble because he was in the top 15. He's back down in 17th place at the moment. So last week's 2nd place finisher, not having such a good run at this point tonight.
No, Kieran Vidagos just mentioned on the YouTube chat that his computer has just died. That's a real shame for Kieran. So we're going to go into a replay. Now, this is on the run through to the Haken for the first time. And it literally, at Constantine, as everyone's trying to find spaces. Right, just have a look. And that is Gavin Utley. And, he gets a tag from Cameron Fife, and there's a Porsche in the barriers as well. That is Charlie Crossland. And that is another BMW that's been turned around. So, oh my goodness me, that is, I think that could have been Daniel Parker in the number 6. Yeah, that is the case. I think he was turned around and he was at the back end of the field. So it hasn't been easy for some of these drivers, as Yannick Müller trying to chase down Steve Haley, who I think in the last 3 laps of this race, Steve, he's had more than his 9 lives if he was a cat.
He has, but he'll be very, very pleased with where he's at the moment in 4th place. I was just going to go to another replay now.
Oh, okay, so... Right, just keep... Oh! No, that's the Alpine. That's the Alpine of Evan Natafas, currently in 32nd, got turned around there, and that paint job, it might be matte black, but that looks like that's going to be ending up being a body in white in terms of a manufacturer reference before a car gets painted at the factory.
It's looking like there's a little bit of primer showing, doesn't it?
Yes.
But, Yannick Muller's now in the slipstream of Haley on the start-finish straight, and you can just see that Mercedes gaining. But the KTM is so good on the brakes. Can Steve defend that from back there? Not sure he can. Yannick Muller's going to get the power on now and have the inside as they go into the Mercedes arena, and he's got that position just about. I'm not saying he's got it, because Steve Haley won't give up, but he's looking like he's got the job done now.
Aidan Bro in the meantime there is trying to make the move on Ollie Geel. We're now going to go to another replay here, and this is involving another couple of a BMW and one of the now one of the BMWs. Well, that was Ranbury going in, and that is one of the HF Impala cars. And he gets a bit of there was from my side might have been a little bit of a retaliation possibly, but it was just getting the tail end of that. But Aidan Bro really trying to put the frighteners on Ollie Geel, and Ollie Geel makes a mistake. Bro in the Audi, he said he wasn't. He said, "Well, I'm going to try and give it my best." Well, that's why Butler Powell Motorsport has signed him as one of their regular talents, and he showed us last week, Steve, that he can provide talking points, and seeing that highlight really posted on Twitter, that just showed what he's more than capable than more than that.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's one of many drivers that are very capable on this grid. I mean, going back to that corner there, I'm not sure it wasn't so much a mistake from Ollie Geel. He was just taking the racing line, but Aidan Bro just took a tighter line, which isn't the conventional racing line. But good driving from both guys, and I'm sure that's going to be a battle to watch. But I mean, if Aidan Bro can get in front and start chasing down the leader.
Yeah, Charlie Crossland in 16th position at the moment, as here is a move on Stijn Passport attempted at Jeffrey Wolf going through the NGK chicane, as Stijn Passport loses the back end of the Genetta. That allows Wolf and now Charlie Crossland, who has last time around put in a 2-minute 4.857, the number 66 from Team Fordzilla, the fastest driver on the circuit at the moment, and he's now up into 15th place. After what happened on the very first lap, as they're all trying to get one up on each other. As I think Gerard Debar was trying to go up the inside of Ibrahim Al-Alawi. Aidan Bro still trying to force the issue here. Yannick Müller looking to capitalise. Bro round the outside of the number 18 Porsche, but then has to slot back in. That's coming out to the Mercedes Arena complex.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic battling with these guys, and that KTM of Haley still hanging on in the background, although as we say, he's still not managed to get back in front of Muller. He's got that position well and truly from Haley, but Haley will be happy in the top 5, and he's not just happy in the top 5, he's hanging on, as we're seeing Charlie Crossland now go past Wolf, and he's going to get, that's Emery. That's Emery, yeah, that's Emery's got as well. So Charlie Crossland, if only he'd had a clean start to this race, he could have been battling up at the front already, because he's certainly making up places now.
Well, he's got past Al-Alawi in the meantime. Now he's gunning for Gerard Debar. So that Porsche of Charlie Crossland really, really putting the cat amongst the proverbial pigeons as the Team Fordzilla driver. Oh, and it looks like Aidan Bro, I think, has made the move up into second position, having got past Ollie Geel. And whilst they were battling away, the leader, Robbie Stapleford, was about 2.2 seconds in the distance. So now we go to, there is Charlie Croston. Gerard Debar has a little bit of a moment there going through. But that is going to allow Charlie Croston to close up. Jeffrey Wolf not too far behind. There's Yannick Muller ahead of Steve Haley. So there has been a moment for Ollie Gill, and he could lose out through the NGK chicane to Regan Mitchell. As Charlie Croston trying to keep the move going ahead of Jeffrey Wolf through the NGK chicane. The number 66 makes it up into 12th position. But Steve Haley absolutely doubting the naysayers in that KTM. He's currently 4th, and he's only just under 0.4 of a second behind Yannick Muller in 3rd place as they head into the Haughaken.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely interesting to see what Stapleford's pace is like against Edinburgh and what they're like in an out-and-out battle. Stapleford's done a 2:05.835 and Bro's done a 2:06, I believe. But obviously he's not had any clean air yet, so it'll be interesting to see what his next lap time is, as Charlie Crossland's still battling away in 12th place, trying to make his way back through the field.
And at the moment, as we fast approach the conclusion very soon, in about 3.5 minutes of the first third of this third round of ACC GT4 Season 3 here at the Nurburgring. If it was to finish as it did now, Richard Emery will be on reverse top 15 pole for the next race at Silverstone. But Dave Hedges, our reverse top 15 pole sitter, he's trying to chase down Tim Fullbrook in the number 862 HF Impala car. And there is Adam Isalovic, as we see that his Dutch teammate currently on the YouTube channel saying, "Come on, Adam, make the cheese-loving community happy."
Yeah, and good evening to Blue Bay Cave, vroom vroom. It's good to see you on the channel, mate. And Mark Neutlins as well. Come on, Adam, mate. Yeah, like you say, it's all good stuff. It's good to see the guys on chat and just getting involved. And Dave Hedges, he's dropped back down to 8, but those Maseratis do seem to settle into the race once you sort of get the tyres and brakes up to temperature and get them working. So yeah, maybe expect to see Dave coming back up a couple of positions. Not sure how many, but he'll certainly try a couple. It just seems like Charlie Crossland's got stuck at the moment behind De Beer, and he's sort of holding him back. No doubt Charlie Crossland's got the pace, as we see him closing right up on the back end all the time, but there's just no way through at the moment.
Aidan Bro, in the meantime, has got that gap down to 1.2 seconds from 2.1, as now Charlie Crossland trying to seize the day. Carpe diem through the Coca-Cola corner, and he gets the switch back. Nicely done on Gerard Debar, but the BMW now has the run coming down the main straightaway. And the number 20 from Simbro Sport trying to go late on the brakes. Nicely done there by Gerard Debar. Charlie Crossland got the switch back at the right time, but the Porsche seems to be a bit more capable in the twisty stuff. And you can see that everyone is definitely suffering on the paintwork with the scars of battle here at the Nürburgring.
Yeah, absolutely. And Charlie's really going to town. He's really trying to get that position, but Debar is defending very, very well. And just looking at Hedges now, and he's got past Fullbrook and he's into 7th place, so he has made that position up. He's got some clean air in front of him now, so he'll try and get back on the back end of Ollie Gill and catch him up.
I think I just noticed that Ibrahim Al-Alawi was in the pits, and he has dropped off of the top 23.
Yeah, I also think I just saw Fullbrook go off the track as well, and he's dropped a couple more places as well. So Tim's down to 10th place now, so not having the best race this evening, but certainly is a good race with Crossland and Debar at the moment. Crossland's flashing his lights furiously, but just no way around that BMW at this moment in time. He's had a couple of good goes at him, but Debar's had an answer so far every time. But Charlie's really hammering that Porsche.
Well, Aidan Bro is in striking distance. He's 6.5 tenths of a second behind. And last time out, he put in a 2:04.998. Robbie Stapleford, a 2:05.931. So Aidan Bro is absolutely flying. Don't count out Yannick Muller, though. He's currently 6 tenths of a second away in the number 77 Mercedes.
Crossland's got that job done. He took Debar as they went into the Michelin curve around the outside. And he ran it a bit wide, and he's just cut the chicane there. That's not going to do him any favours. He may have lost a bit of ground there, but he's got back on in front, and he's defended the position. But some people would say maybe he should concede the position. I'm not quite sure myself.
Look at the battle for the top 3 now. They are literally line astern, coming through the Mercedes arena. Oh, hang on. Steve Haley's there. Steve Haley is there. So it is Mercedes versus Audi versus Mercedes and KTM. And Regan Mitchell is about 5 seconds away from this battle. We've now hit into the second third of this 45-minute encounter. And Aidan Bro was on an absolute flyer in that Audi. He was running in the high 2049s, a second quicker than Robbie Stapleford. And I've just clocked his last lap time. It was 2054. And Stapleford was 0.8 of a second slower. Yannick Muller was running in the low 205s, a 2050, and Steve Haley running in the same sort of concurrent pace.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are running pretty much within the same lap times, and you would have to say Stapleford at the moment is the guy that's maybe not achieving the fastest lap times out of these four guys. So he's going to become the cork in the bottle, and they're going to have to look for a way around him. Aidan Bro, we know, has got the skills to overtake. But we also know Stapleford can defend, so this is going to be an interesting battle as Aidan Bro just goes a little bit deep on the brakes there, and he's really got to watch Muller behind, because we know Muller's got some racecraft and he's got some a certain amount of aggression, and he will try and put some moves on if Aidan leaves the door open for him like that again.
I think also the fact that Yannick Muller last season actually drove the R8, so he will know the characteristics of that car, and he'll understand what will happen if Aidan Bro makes a mistake as they come through the NGK chicane. Nicely composed there from Aidan Bro, as Robbie Stapleford looks to be clearing off a little bit into the distance, but not by much at the minute. 0.8 of a second as we now will complete lap number 8 of this race. And the gap now between Stapleford and Bro, 0.729 seconds. Yannick Muller in the slipstream of Bro, and he looks towards the inside through into the Haughaken. Meanwhile, just a little bit further back, Ranjiv Kalsi and Angus Martin look to be battling over what is 16th position, as Aaron Walker has got himself up into 15th. That's a Herculean effort from the number 99, who was our inaugural GT4 champion in season 1. But now Stapleford really coming under pressure. I think, has he made a bit of a mistake there, Steve? I
think the pace of the three guys behind him is really telling. And on that last lap, interestingly, Haley was the fastest of this bunch of four cars, in 4th position in the KTM. But yeah, I mean, like I said, Stapleford is the one that's not quite, I mean, we're only talking a few tenths, but he's not quite putting in the same lap times as these three guys behind him. So they're catching up. And as long as Aidan Bro and Yannick Muller don't get too tangled up with each other, I think Aidan will be launching an attack very soon.
Yep, so they now go through, well, that is Dunlop. They'll now go into the Michael Schumacher S's. And then through into the left, into the right. A little bit of dust kicked up from Stapleford in the Mercedes. Bro, Muller and Haley very clean through there as they now head into Michelin. Muller looking to go up the inside of Aidan Bro for second position. This could open the door for Steve Haley, but Bro goes defensive now through into Warsteiner. Now it's the run down to Advan, which is a fast right-hand corner. It's effectively a right-hand kink. So great defence there from Aidan Bro on Yannick Muller, and Steve Haley was just waiting for that opportunity. And I think he knew that it wasn't going to come around that time, but maybe depending on how high the intensity goes between Bro and Muller, it could depend on when Haley has that opportunity to capitalise.
Yeah, I mean, for Steve Haley, it's all about the championship. So he will sit there. He'll do a champion's drive, as it were. He'll just sit there and wait for the opportunity to present himself. He knows he hasn't quite got the car maybe to attack with as much vigour as the guys in front. But if an opportunity arises, he'll certainly take it. And just going into T1, it's looking like no one's going to get an opportunity on this lap. If you just look in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, we've got Adam Mazilevich following Dave Hedges in that Maserati, looking to try and make some moves. And good to see Andrew Fife on the stream supporting Cameron. Good evening, Andrew. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, the battle up at the front is really hotting up as Stapleford, to be fair to him, is taking his racing lines. He's not really letting the guys intimidate him too much behind, and he's focusing on where he needs to be, where he needs that car, and he's not worrying too much, by the looks of it at the moment, about the cars behind him.
I think what he's also doing is making the back end of that Mercedes as wide as humanly possible, being in the right place at the right time, as you very well said there, Steve. Whereas Aidan Bro, he's just looking for that little bit of an opportunity where he can possibly think, well, I might give it a go, or do I hold back on that one? And that's what he's doing. You know, the thing is, in terms of the the tyre degradation out of these cars, out of these three brands that we've got on our screen right now, Steve, which one is possibly the one that could suffer the most throughout it? Because I think the KTM could have a bit of an advantage. It's lighter than the three cars in front. It's a bespoke race car, whereas the other three are very much sort of heavily production based, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd agree with you there, Alex. I'm not 100% sure because, to be honest, I haven't done many laps in the KTM. I've done a couple, but certainly not done a race distance in one, so I couldn't comment. You see, Edinburgh's now putting it in position to go around the outside, but that will put him on the inside for the chicane. If he can make that stick, that's a great move, fantastic move. Got it done before the braking zone.
Yep.
Just hit those perfect apexes, just needs to stop Stapleford coming back down the inside. Stapleford's forced that door open. That was very rude, wasn't it?
But then Muller's just capitalised and mugged the pair of them coming out of the Coca-Cola curve. So Edinburgh with an absolutely brilliant move around the outside of Stapleford through Advan. So excited, I can't get my words out.
I would say Stapleford, he matched Edinburgh's move there with that.
Oh, he did.
He just levered that door open. It was all fair. He didn't push him out of the way. He just levered it open, just ever so gently. But as you say, Yannick Muller was the winner on that one, and he's gone from third to first. So fantastic driving, guys.
Right, okay, Edinburgh looking to go put the boot on the other foot, as it were, up the inside of Robbie Stapleford, and he gets the move done. Steve Haley now looking at his opportunity.
The KTM is just there ready to pounce, isn't it? He's just taking a watching brief, as it were, and just thinking, right, okay, these guys are racing. And in fact, he's trying to go up the inside there and looking like he might. No, he's not quite got the pace to get it done before they entered into the turn, but he's certainly, he's battling. He's not wanting to get left behind. He's wanting to stick with, Muller and Edinburgh.
Yeah, that was definitely sideways through Valvoline, heading into the right-hander at Ford Curve before the slight parabolica straight down towards Dunlop, as now they go up the hill towards the Michael Schumacher S's. And yeah, Haley, like you say, he's got the ringside seat. He's just waiting. He's just waiting, biding his time, and he's doing an absolutely fantastic job of that so far.
He is, but what he won't like now is the fact that the other guys have got past Stapleford, and Stapleford's not a slow guy. He defended really well and battled hard, but the other two guys, they are gapping Stapleford now, and Haley won't want to get left behind, because I'm pretty sure what's been keeping that KTM in the game is the slipstream, and if he looks to put a move on Stapleford now, he's going to be into dirty, he'll have no slipstream basically when I can get my words out. He'll have lost the slipstream, so he'll have lost the advantage of trying to keep up, and he might start to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I think you very much could be right with that one, Steve, as they come out of the final corner. Edinburgh looking to close on Yannick Muller has got the gap down to just under 0.69 seconds as they come across the line to complete lap number 11 here at the famed Nurburgring GP circuit. We go on board with Steve Haley, closing in on Robbie Stapleford. This is the battle for third position. Now the gap between Edinburgh and Robbie Stapleford, Steve, is now extended to just under 1.7 seconds.
Indeed.
That's rather interesting.
Indeed, but Regan Mitchell, he's lapped just over a second faster than these two guys on the last lap. So he's closing that gap down. So that Maserati is going to be closing on the back end of the KTM very, very soon. And that's going to open up the battle again, because with him, he's bringing two more Porsches. So that's three more cars to the fray.
Yeah, and I'm just doing a little bit of calculation at the moment, just writing down, obviously, like positions of where they are currently at the moment. So you look, don't count out Karolis Sipavicius, last week's winner at Suzuka, and is only 2.5 tenths of a second away from Regan Mitchell. So the Maserati did have a gap of about 5 seconds to find. It's now nearly been halved in the last 3 or 4 laps or so, whilst the quartet in front have been battling. So now Muller and Bro have gotten away. Angus Martin now battling with Richard Emery. This is for 16th position. And at the moment, Ranjith Kelsey, the number 47, is currently in the position that would net him the reverse top 15 pole position for next week's event
Yeah, and watch this space, because Crossland, he's up to 8th place at the minute. He's just got past Hedges by the looks of it within the last few laps, and he's going to now try close up on Ollie Gill, which he's not far off him. So he's going to be getting into this battle up at the front, I would say, before the race finishes.
And we go on board with Charlie Crossland, who's just made his way through the NGK chicane and now into the right-hander at the Coca-Cola corner, which then brings them onto the main start-finish straight here at the circuit. Steve Haley looking, darts towards the outside of Robbie Stapleford, heading into Hulkhagen. And on this particular occasion, he doesn't get close enough yet.
Yeah, and that lap of Charlie Crossland's last lap was the fastest lap of the race, 2:04.7. So Charlie's certainly charging. He's looking to get into the top 5, I would say, is probably his aim tonight. Having said that, knowing Charlie, he'll still be aiming to win it, even though there's only 20 minutes left. He never gives up, doesn't that lad? And he'll certainly be, he'll keep putting those lap times into the end of the race.
Indeed. I'm just doing some brief calculations at the moment. That effectively, if it was to finish as it did now, with Steve Haley, he would be on 105 points, because he'd get 34 for sitting in 4th position. Aidan Brough would get 45 for taking 2nd, and that would put him on 99 points. So this would really put Aidan Brough into the sharp end of the grid, going into the half, into round 4. At Silverstone on the 25th of November. But Steve Haley, he's just like a dog that won't give up playing with you. He'll keep on nattering away. He'll be full of beans, and he's still going after Robbie Stapleford and Sipar Vicious now. Look, Regan Mitchell has dropped from 5th to 7th position. He's 1.8 seconds ahead of Charlie Crossland. Haley makes a mistake in the KTM, and that loses him a bit of time. So Karolis Sipar Vicious looking to really, really steal a march and hopefully take a second win in 2 successive weeks.
Yeah, and just looking at the up ahead, I mean, Muller's managing to hold Aidan Brough back, and I mean, Aidan's keeping it within a second, but Stapleford's now just shy of 4 seconds back with Haley on his tail. And as you say, the other guys are catching up now, and Haley's going to have to start looking in his mirror very, very soon.
So they come across the line, completing lap number 13. Gap between the two leaders just over 8 tenths as we go back to Mark Raddenbury in the number 75, and that's Baz Schilstra, I believe, just in front. So we'll just keep our eyes on Raddenbury at the minute, and they've just gone through the Schumacher S's. And Raddenbury's closing on Schilstra, looking towards, and tries to go to one side, go to the other. Schilstra runs wide, Raddenbury runs wide, and that's through Michelin and then into Warsteiner. So if you're enjoying the stream here on any respective stream that you're on, please don't forget to hit that like button. Also, if you're watching on YouTube via the relevant streams like the Virtual Reality Racing Club, also Simply Race, and also the Simsport Racing channel, why not hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell? So we are getting really down towards the 3rd and final exciting installment of this race. And Sipar Vicious has been absolutely dynamite in these latter stages. It seems like the Porsche has come alive, and coming with Sipar Vicious here, Steve, is Ollie Gill.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've sort of really hammered that gap down, and I'm sure the most frustrated, or one of the most frustrated drivers on the track at the moment is probably Haley. That KTM just doesn't seem to be able to make the impression on Stapleford. And as we've said, and as we've seen, Stapleford can defend, and he knows how to defend. And I think he's having an easier job defending against the KTM than he did of the Audi of Aidan Brough. But Steve's going to have to start defending as well, because Sipar Vicious is going to be on his tail, or he is on his tail, and he's going to be looking to make a move. I think now, as they go in towards the NGK chicane, he's going to maybe try and make a move.
Yeah, he's trying to make a move, but Haley recalcitrant. But in the meantime, Aidan Brough is within 4 tenths of a second. Here goes Sipar Vicious up the inside, and looks like he's got the job done. No, he lost the back end. He lost the back end, did Sipar Vicious in the 101. But Brough is now 4 tenths of a second behind. Let's go on board with Aidan Brough on the right-hand side. The Bad Motorsport 557 Audi R8 LMS GT4. Gap between him and Yannick Müller. So it is a Falterbach versus Neuburg and Donau in terms of the locations of where AMG and Audi Sport are both located. And they're going through into the Mercedes arena, other two leaders coming out of it before heading down the short blast towards the Valvoline corner. Haley's lost the position to Sipavicius. It was only a matter of time, and it has finally happened there, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was just watching that, and he lost the position, but he's done well to keep Ollie Gill behind. But I'm sure Ollie will start mounting an attack. But as ever, Steve's trying to look for a way back, because Sipavicius is now stuck behind Stapleford, and Stapleford is very much that proverbial cork in the bottle, although it's looking like Sipavicius is looking to go down the inside as they nip into the hairpin. And in fact, Stapleford's run off, he's missed his braking point altogether, and that allows all four of them through, maybe five. So that's absolutely catastrophic for Stapleford.
Yeah, but in the meantime, Aidan Bro has kept Yannick Müller very, very honest indeed, as on the bottom right-hand corner, we go on board with Ollie Gill. And I'm looking at the lap times. Bro did a 2-minute 4.977. Yannick Müller, with no assistance, a 2-minute 5.466. So Aidan Bro is looking to get his maiden Simsport Racing victory. And it's not just him, it's also Yannick Müller, who has featured in the top 5 at multiple points as they go through into the NGK chicane, literally line astern. Bro not giving Müller any manoeuvrability in room and also opportunity to breathe. And I'm sure that these guys will be both exhausted but also exultant with joy after what has been a titanic battle. 13 minutes and 20 seconds still to go. Steve Haley now in the tail of Sipavicius as the two leaders make their way through into the Haughagen. And Aidan Bro planting his car towards the outside and then looking to get the switch back into the second part of the Mercedes arena. But the Audi not able to do that so far, as Sipavicius runs a little bit wide going through. But that is allowing Haley to close up. So dynamite battles for first and second and third and fourth. And Haley, he's like a little Yorkshire Terrier snapping at your heels, and he's not going to give up without a fight. But then Ollie Gill, and now add Charlie Crossland to the mix. This is where the fireworks have intensified, Steve, big time.
Charlie Crossland will certainly light the fuse to this firework, because he's there on the tail end now, and he's quick. He's a quick boy, and he's going to try and put some moves on. He's got himself back up to a very impressive 6th place after at one point he was down. I saw him in 20th place, maybe lower than that, wasn't quite sure, but he's had a fantastic comeback drive to get where he is. But he's not a patient driver. He will start to try and make a few moves, so these guys are going to have to look in their mirrors as Ollie Gill's looking to try and make a move on Haley as we speak, but Haley's got him covered at that one. Yeah,
the leaders now coming through, as we see via the back rear wing cam of the KTM Crossbow.
Charlie Crossland's
got
it
close.
Done.
That was close.
Charlie Crossland, he's got that move done. He basically forced his way through, and that was all fair in love and war. That was a good move. He basically got down the inside and just didn't give an inch, just stuck to his line. Fantastic move from Charlie. So that's Charlie Crossland now up to 5th place.
And he's quickly closed on the back bumper of the KTM Crossbow of the number 1 of Steve Haley. We're about to complete lap number 16 as the two leaders make their way through the Coca-Cola corner, whereas the rest of the petulant children squabbling away for the scraps.
Absolutely. I mean, did you see that KTM through the NGK chicane? It was absolutely airborne. I think all 4 wheels were in the air at one point. So no one can say Steve Haley is not trying. That is absolute full commitment. Charlie Crossland full on in the slipstream. Aidan Bro right up behind Müller, but just not close enough in the braking zone to T1. But is Charlie Crossland close enough? He's trying to go around the outside of Haley, but I don't think he's going to get that move done on this occasion. Haley's managed to hold him off.
No, not really. If he was about another car length and a half ahead, he probably would have been in front of Steve Haley at that particular point in time. But Aidan Bro is keeping the gap to around about 0.3 of a second between himself and Yannick Müller. So Müller and Bro absolutely fighting tooth and nail. 10.5 minutes still to go. We go on board with Charlie Crossland in the number 66 Porsche. And Steve Haley, you can just see how hard he is working at KTM Crossbow, and runs a little bit that's in on the racing line as they now come through Ford. But Charlie Crossland looking towards the outside through the Parabolica corner. through down towards Dunlop, and he's got alongside, but Haley still keeps ahead. Crossland could go for the switchback coming out of the Dunlop corner. And on this particular occasion, this time it's not happening, but now they're going to go through the Schumacher S's. Aaron Walker, in the meantime, Steve, now up to P12 and is 0.2 of a second behind Stin Passpont in the 444 Ginetta, as Charlie Crossland trying to do everything in his power to get past Steve Haley, and that was heading into Michelin, and he's going to come back onto the circuit and still be ahead of the number one. Whoa, that was close.
Yeah, I think there might be a complaint going in there about an off-track overtake. I'm not quite sure if that was a legal pass. He did go right off the track, but he kept his foot in, and he basically came back on track in front. So the stewards will probably have a look at that one. So hopefully it was judged to be clean, but yeah, I've got my doubts. But yeah, Haley's still battling hard. Like you say, Walker, fantastic. He's really smashing this one. He's up to 12th place from, what was it, 33rd on the grid. So fantastic drive, fantastic.
Make that 22 places.
Absolutely,
he's got past Is Isalovic now down into 12th place. Fullbrook, Angus Martin is in P15 at the minute. But then looking at the gaps between, the likes of Walker is 0.3 of a second behind Dave Hedges. Well, no, he's ahead of Dave Hedges. So Walker absolutely getting he's getting a wriggle on, and he's got Stin Passpont just up ahead. And it's the number 20 of Simbro Sports, Gerard de Bart. Isalovic trying to go up the inside of Hedges through the Hagen. Hedges running a little bit wide. So it looks like I think it was Kelsey that was doing the same there too. Angus Martin in the HF Impala satellite team is rounding out the top 15. Which means that if in 8 minutes and 15 seconds he crosses the line in 15th position, he's on reverse grid pole for round 4 at Silverstone in a week's time. But absolutely brilliant duelling up and down the order. This is why we are we like to class ourselves as the place to race, because there are battles up and down the order as Walker gets a bit wide, 2 wheels on the dusty grass there, trying to get past Adam Isalovic was Aaron Walker, but he's closing on the Mercedes.
Yeah, he certainly tucked in the slipstream there, and he'll maybe pop out for the braking zone, but I don't think he was close enough on that occasion. But yeah, he's certainly making that KTM work, and he's doing an absolutely fantastic job. Ranjiv Kelsey in 13th place up behind Dave Hedges. The Porsche is going to be a bit easier to handle than that Maserati, but Dave, he was on pole position, had a bit of a steady start, couple of incidents, but he's got it all back together again, and top 15 finish for him again. That's going to put him up near the sharp end of the grid to come next week. As we're just seeing, is that Angus Martin going around the outside of Kelsey?
Yeah, and Fullbrook's not too far behind, but at the moment that's a bit of dust kicked up by Angus Martin. Fullbrook now trying to get past Kelsey. The cheese jokes have already come in from Mark Neuselings.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Cheers, buddy. Yeah, great one.
Yeah, it's that Emmental or Gouda. That's my response to that one. 6 minutes and 50 still to go as Ranjiv Kelsey trying to do his utmost to get up the inside of Tim Fullbrook. Oh, they bang panels, and Fullbrook manages to catch the slide. Oh, and then looks like the back end stepped out the other way, and Ranjiv Kelsey tags him, and I think there was a touch between the two of them. It sent Fullbrook one way, then the other, and that has put both of them. And at the moment, Richard Pixley now jumps into 15th position as a result of that carambolage between those two Porsches.
Yeah, those two guys will be absolutely gutted now, because that puts them outside of that top 15 reverse. So if they finish where they are next week, this is where they start. So it's not ideal for Ranjiv Kelsey. That's a big mistake to make, but nobody will be punishing himself more than Ranjiv. He's an absolutely decent guy, and he gave that position back to Tim Fullbrook as well. So he did all he could after the mistake. So we're seeing Charlie Crossland now into 4th place. 4th place for Charlie Crossland from round about 20th. As I say, I'm not sure how far he dropped at the start, but he certainly dropped into 20th place at one point. So he's had a fantastic drive, and it's looking like he's going to be trying to put a move on Super Vicious very, very shortly. He's really showing his headlights. He's just so brazen the wheel. He's not frightened to stick it down the outside and say, look, I'm going to come round the outside. If you defend the inside, I'll take the outside. And he really does push that Porsche and push the opponents to the absolute limit. He really is he's a talented young man with a certain amount of measured aggression in him, but he gets some amazing moves done, as we've seen already. Like I said earlier, not quite sure if they're all textbook legal, slightly off track, maybe one or two of them, but he certainly he puts on a show for the spectators.
Well, he is one of the future Team Fordzilla stars, Charlie Crossland, just 17 years of age, but he's doing his absolute best. And this is a repeat of what we saw last week, but it's not for the victory, it's for the last step on the podium. 4 minutes and 48 seconds still to go. Charlie Crossland trying to go around the outside of Karolis Sipavicius in the 101 Porsche. A repeat of last week's battle, but Crossland gets a better purchase coming through the inside of the Haukhaken. Now tries to get the switch back a little bit here, going through the Mercedes arena. A little bit of a touch.
Oh, no, that was a touch. He's going to have to give that position back, and he knows it, and he's pulling off, and that's the end of his podium challenge. He's going to have to be sporting and let Sipavicius take that position back.
Yeah, he's definitely. I completely agree. Steve Haley, in the meantime, as a result of that coming together with just under 4.5 minutes remaining, now takes the final step on the rostrum. Who'd have thunk that one, Mr. Proudley?
Well, I had every faith in Steve Haley, and I knew he'd get there on the podium somewhere, somehow. No, absolutely. It's just about keeping it clean, keeping it consistent. And as I said about a half a lap earlier, Charlie is quite an aggressive driver, and that I would say that's the only weak side of his driving. He's a fantastic driver. He's fast. He's pretty consistent. But sometimes he lacks a little bit of patience sometimes, and pushes a little bit too hard. As we're looking at Aaron Walker, I believe now on Adam Azalovic trying to get that 10th place.
Yeah, that's going through into Dunlop and then into the Michael Schumacher S's. 3 minutes and 20 still to go. The gap between Yannick Müller and Aidan Bro was at its very lowest, around 0.2 of a second. I think Aidan Bro has decided that it's best this is going to help his championship push. So he's 3 seconds behind Yannick Müller, and Yannick Müller will go up from 32 points to 82 if he takes the victory. It's a maximum score of 50 points, notwithstanding the pole position that went we don't have a pole position in GT4, we have a fastest lap, and that point will go to Charlie Crossland at the end of it all, when it's all said and done. And it's getting very close between Isalovic and Walker for the final spot on the top 10.
Yeah, I think the guys in the KTMs, they've got speed. They've got a certain sort of amount of speed in that KTM, but they do seem to lack that extra purchase just to try and get past these Mercedes in particular. You can just see Adam gets a bit of he got the legs down the straight and just gaps him enough, because the KTMs are amazing in the braking zone, but Aaron just can't stay close enough to make that work for him. But he's doing really well to be where he is. As we're looking at Haffenden now, is he coming past his teammate Fullbrook with Kelsey still in the background there? So that's teammate on teammate, and Kelsey's going to be going around the outside in turn one. Is he going to make that work? It's a fantastic move if he does, and in fact I think he's got it done. He's got that done around the outside. So yeah, good move, Ranj. Fantastic driving, buddy.
It looks like Simon Wilkes has got a drive-through penalty, I think possibly for track limits, as we come down towards the last 90 seconds. And at the moment, I just need to... I'm just going to have a look at see where Yannick Müller is currently at the moment. He's actually through Michelin at the moment. So when he comes across the line, he will be on the... so the 77 of Yannick Müller now coming through into Advan. What will be the penultimate time as Isalovic goes defensive once again on Aaron Walker. After this, it will be the 22nd and final lap of this race, and I think that, if memory serves me correctly, that will make it three different winners from 3 different races this season in GT4.
It will indeed, and the championship is alive. It is wide open. I mean, obviously Steve Haley, now he's got jumped up to 3rd place, he's going to gain those few extra points that might just enable him to keep that lead, but it's going to be very close up at the top end. it's been some fantastic racing so far tonight, and it's not over yet. You know, we've got the last sort of 30 seconds they're going to go around, and we're going to have to do another lap, obviously. But some fantastic driving, and Aaron Walker, one of the standout drivers this evening, as he's really pushing Adam. He just, like I said, the KTM just really seems to struggle when they come to the flat-out straights.
Yeah, and with the way that Haley's performed, it will actually put him on 109 points, so 10 ahead of Aidan Bro. Rich Smith, don't think I've seen much of this evening, if I'm honest with you.
No, his name's not come up, has it? So I'm not sure if he took the starting grid, to be honest. I think he did, but maybe he had an issue early on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
Rich Smith's in 36th place, so obviously I believe he's retired.
Yeah. Adam Isolovic, he's doing a fantastic job in P10. So, right, so the clock has struck 0, and Yannick Müller is making his way towards the final part of the circuit here at the Nurburgring in the Mercedes AMG GT4. It's been a brilliant performance, not just from him, but also from Aidan Bro, 2 new additions. Yannick through the second phase of Season 2, and Aidan Bro joining us for Season 3. But it is all pretty much said and done through Advent for the final time for the number 77 Mercedes AMG GT4. Yannick Müller has the NGK chicane now circumnavigated, and one more right-hand hairpin. And Yannick Müller in the 77 will win here at the Nürburgring for GT4 Season 3, Round 3. And the title fight is well and truly on. Aidan Bro in the number 557, representing Butlerpal Motorsports in the Audi, takes second. And I've just seen that Charlie Crossland has just shown up as being third ahead of Steve Haley.
Yeah, I saw that literally on the line, wasn't it? It must have been a drag race to the line that we maybe just missed there. But yeah, that'll be an interesting one to watch back. Yeah, fantastic racing from all the guys. Here we're seeing the tail end of the top 10 coming over the line now. And looking like Aaron Walker's just had to settle for that 11th place, but fantastic drive from him, fantastic drive from Adam Azalovic to keep Aaron behind, because I know that's not easy. And now here comes Tim Fullbrook, who's dropped down to 16th after that little collision caused by Ranjit Kelsey in 17th. So Fullbrook got back past Kelsey by the looks of that.
Yeah, looks like, provisionally speaking, Michael Haffenden will have the reverse top 15 pole position slot for Silverstone in a week's time. Mark Randenbury, he's flashing the headlights, the number 75 from Dunn Motorsport. He's been in the trenches as Mark. Here comes Denise Pope, looks to be her best ever finish here in Simsport Racing, as the number 79 Wild Things Porsche comes across the line, and she takes 24th ahead of Simon Wilkes. And the Black Mamba Racing number 12 BMW, who rounds out the top 25. Even Natafas in the Alpine had actually pitted and was classified as 29th. We'll have Colin Dunn. He'll finish in 27th ahead of Steve Allen. And Daniel Parker rounds out the top 25 in the number 6 BMW. But 3 different winners from 3 different races, as Yannick Müller wins here at the Nürburgring.
Yeah, fantastic little championship that's really throwing up some great races, some fantastic driving, and an interesting championship. So bring on the next round. I can't wait, because this championship is going to go down to the last round, I feel, and there's going to be lots more close battles to come.
Yeah, definitely. It is alive and kicking, this championship. So for those wondering about the rest of the calendar for Season 3 GT4, next week, on the 25th of November, it is the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone, that we'll be heading to. And then round 5 on the 2nd of December will be the iconic 7-kilometre long Spa-Francorchamps for the penultimate round of the season. And it will be a British circuit to finish the proceedings here in GT4 Season 3, as the Garden of England Brands Hatch Grand Prix on the 9th of December will conclude the 6th round calendar. Also, before we forget, we have another race coming up this Sunday evening. as we'll have the second round of our ACC GT3 driver swap, which will start, coverage will start at 1900 local time, and we head to Spa-Francorchamps this coming Sunday. And then 2 weeks later, we head to the mountain, Bathurst Mount Panorama on the 6th of December, and then Autodromo Nazionale di Monza on the 20th of December concludes the 4-round calendar, which takes us nicely to the Christmas break. But Steve, I understand that you've got some drivers to interview this evening, so I shall leave it in your very capable hands, my friend.
Thank you very much. I shall go have a chat with the drivers now, see who's going to join us in the commentary box.
Good evening, Yannick. How are you, buddy?
I'm fine. How about you?
Yeah, very well, and just calming down. I mean, the commentary box was very excited during that race, and particularly with the battle for the lead. Certainly in the first half of the race, when there was potentially 4 and even 5 cars all within sort of 1 and 2 seconds of each other battling away. I mean, it was a tough call to make with who was going to win that race. At that point, when you were battling with 4 or 5 of you, did you think you had a chance to get in front and actually finish with a gap like you did?
Not really. No, I just saw. I don't remember who it was. An Audi and another Mercedes go off on the last corner, and they opened up a gap that allowed me to go through. But up to that point, no, I didn't think so.
No, it was a fantastic drive, buddy, and it's sort of, it's putting you in contention with some good championship points. Obviously, we go to Silverstone next week. Have you got any sort of tactics or plans that you can transfer over to Silverstone, bearing in mind you'll be starting in 15th place?
Not really, but Silverstone is a fun track with lots of overtaking opportunities, so cars fast seem to have the pace. So I think if we can start an attack.
Great stuff, mate. Well, good luck for next week. Well done this week, and fantastic
Thanks.
driving, fantastic racing, and I'll look forward to seeing you practicing on the servers.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. Aidan, bro, how are you, buddy?
Not in the best of moods, to say the least.
Well, from our point of view in the commentary box and the people watching, there was some fantastic racing out there. There was some close battling up to the first sort of halfway through. There was 4 or 5 cars, as I was just talking to Yannick about, and it looked like it was going to be a battle between 3, 4 and 5 of you all the way through. But yourself, you managed to get away in second and close down on Yannick, but you just didn't seem to be able to get past him. Is there a story behind that? Was it just his defending, or did the Audi not quite have the pace you needed?
It was down to the brakes. The brakes started going off. I got right back up behind him after sort of dropping back a bit. To, I think about 1.5 seconds, something like that, maybe a bit more. But it was more. I feel like I could have won that race had there not been the contact at the last corner. I thought I had the move done. I think it was the orange and silver Mercedes ran wide up the back straight, managed to get the run on him, get the job done into the chicane, and then he basically took back in behind me. I thought, right, okay, job done, won't defend. Was kind of middle of the road anyway, and then he sailed up the inside and nudged me wide and completely destroyed my momentum, and that allowed him through. So I feel like had that not happened, I might have been able to just hold him off and defend against the other Mercedes, but once he got through, I knew that was pretty much game over. So I was driving in not the best of moods for the rest of it, but I closed back down, like you say, but the brakes just went on. I could not throw the car down anymore, and that was it. So I managed to escape down the road then.
Well, Alex has been working frantically on the figures in the commentary booth, and I think he's putting you in a good, strong second position in the championship. So you've not done yourself any harm with 3 rounds gone and 3 to go. I think you're approximately, if memory serves me correctly, around about 10 points behind Steve Haley. So certainly in striking distance to get into the top spot on the championship if the last 3 rounds go right for you. So starting in 14th position next week at Silverstone, any particular plans next week? I mean, obviously you pretty much came through the field tonight again, didn't you? So it's just attack, isn't it? Or is there a special tactic you've got for that?
It is just eyes forward at all times if you can do. I mean, the Audi's not best on the brake side by any means. Like the Mercedes and the Porsches can just stop on a sixpence in comparison. So it's hard to get the job done when you're sort of all strung out and up to racing pace, whereas the first couple of laps everyone's struggling with a bit of tyre temperature and stuff, and the Audi seems to turn its tyres on really well. So it is just try and get the jump on as many people as possible safely, obviously not barging your way through, but picking off as many spots as you can, as I did tonight, and just get to the front as soon as possible, and then see what you can do from there in the last sort of half an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously Silverstone's a good, fast, open track, so it it suits some good, fast, clean racing, and you guys that can get your head down and put the consistent laps in should do pretty well there. So well done on tonight, mate. Keep your eyes on that championship. Try and stay calm, and just remember the championship. Don't think about those smaller incidents, shall we say? And eyes forward to Silverstone for next week, buddy. So good luck for that one.
Roger.
So we've got 3 more drivers to interview now, and I'm going to interview, well, I'm not sure which one to interview first, but I'm going to Charlie Crossland and Steve Haley. Now, we weren't watching you as you came across the line, but on the line it literally flashed up that Charlie Crossland was third. Is that true, Charlie? Did you manage to take it in the last corner?
Yeah.
Wow, well done, mate. Because you had an issue at the beginning, didn't you? You had a bit of you dropped right down the field. I saw you round about 20th place. Can you tell us what happened there?
So going through turn 1, driver on the inside went a bit wide on the exit and then hit my rear, and I went all the way down to 31st or 32nd.
Wow,
So
that's really
recovering.
Even more impressive then, buddy. A fantastic comeback drive for you in the Porsche, and some good overtakes on the way around. We saw you have one little incident where you had to lift off, and it looked like you maybe needed to give a position back. I'm not sure if you did do that or not, but full of incidents and some good moves. But well done on a third place then, buddy. Fantastic job if you've come from 31st, 32nd, whatever, up to third place. That's a good drive from you tonight.
Thanks.
Steve Haley, snatched away from you on the line then by the sounds of that, buddy. Unlucky, but a fantastic drive from you tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a word with my little KTM and just remind it that it's not a Porsche. Yeah, it was it weren't a terrible race, to be fair. Pace was okay. I could just about keep up with some of the guys, but as soon as they got, to a straight, they just kind of pulled away. So I just had to kind of really try to stick with them as close as I possibly could, and kind of be ever the opportunist to try and pick up some places if a couple of the guys in front got into each other. I'd have been happy with third. Unfortunately, I made a mess of the last chicane, which took me wide into the last corner, and Charlie he managed to keep a tighter line and just nicked it. So yeah, it was a good race all round. So I'm quite pleased with fourth.
Yeah, I said to Alex at one point, when you guys, there was 4 or 5 of you battling up at the front and you were hanging onto the back, I think Aidan, they managed to get past Stapleford, and you were behind Stapleford for a few laps. And I said to Alex, I said, Steve will probably be getting a little bit frustrated now because he's got the pace of those 2 in front. If you can stay tucked up behind them to get you pulled around a little bit, the fact that they were gapping was going to make it hard for you to close that gap back down, and you just didn't seem to have the legs to get past Stapleford. The KTM does seem to just lack that little bit of grunt, doesn't it, for the overtakes?
Yeah, as the guys in front got past Stapleford, I did want to try and go through as well. I did feel like at certain parts that he was holding me up at certain points, and I think I may have gone deep into turn 4 or 5. I think it was that almost tapped him. I think it was Stapleford, but yeah, it would have been nice to have got past him. Would I have been able to pull away? I'm not too sure, but it is what it is. All good.
Yeah, I mean, for the championship, it's a good finish. I think you're still top of the table, so that's what matters, doesn't it? It's onwards to Silverstone. How do you think the KTM will perform at Silverstone?
I think there's plenty of long straights at Silverstone. I think we're going to do as well as we did here, and perhaps Suzuka. I don't think he's going to be terribly good for us, but you never know until we get on there and start practicing. We don't know what kind of state of play is with the pace, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're at that point in the championship with 3 rounds in. It's probably a point, is it, where you start to look at the people that are challenging you at the top rather than the people that are so much challenging for the wins on the night. It's a case of looking at who's around you in the standings.
Totally. Yep. I think tonight or tomorrow, I think I'll get my head together with Aaron, who got a great finish, by the way, tonight. So I'm really pleased, and happy for him on that result. Yeah, we'll get our heads together. We'll have a look at the results in the championship table. We'll look at who we're fighting, who we're going to be fighting. I think obviously Charlie's going to be a row behind at the start of Silverstone, so I should imagine he's going to disappear pretty quickly up towards the front. I think if I can manage to stick with him, I think as close as possible and see where we go. I don't really want to drop too many places behind Charlie, because I think Charlie's going to be one of the main contenders come into the championship.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Well, like I said, well done on this evening's drive, and good luck for Silverstone, my friend. Thank you very much. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Carolis, great racing from you tonight, buddy. Final interview. Do you want to just sum it up for us? How was that for you, my friend?
Oh, that was a sweaty race in a short summary. Yeah, it was intense all the way through, and then in the end, unfortunately, it didn't work out well. It wasn't a clean move, but well, that happens.
Yeah, things happen. I mean, it's how you come back from those moves that sort of makes the racer, isn't it? And, each race take it on its own merit. I mean, you had some great battles tonight, some good driving, and there's some good drivers around you, and there's some fantastic competition on the grid, isn't there? Yeah,
it's great. It's really, really tough for fighting for every place. So it was never boring, not for a moment.
Yeah, well, what's your plans for Silverstone? How do you think you're going to do there? Are you looking to be sort of on the podium, or even on the top step when you get to Silverstone? Do you think you've got that in you?
Well, I will be starting in the middle of the top 15, so that will be helpful. As now I was starting from 15th place and managed to climb back to 3rd. So hopefully from 7th place I could go, or 8th I could go to maybe number 2 or 1. Let's see. I don't know. I haven't tried Silverstone with GT4, so it will be interesting to see how it goes.
No, but I suppose as a race driver, you're always going to be aiming for that top step, aren't you, buddy? So all I'll say is well done on tonight's driving. Like I said, there's been some fantastic racing, some fantastic battles out there. It's been a pleasure to watch, and good luck for Silverstone, my friend.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, Alex, that was a few interviews and a few happy drivers. Aidan was a little bit disappointed, maybe, but it's all fair in love and war. We'll maybe watch that move back of Stapleford's at some point. But some fantastic racing.
Well, I've done some calculations in the meantime, Steve, and when I'm going to tell you now, provisionally speaking, the top 4 covered by just 11 points, leaving the Nurburgring. Steve Haley, as a result of actually getting 4th, which nets him 34 points, puts him 6 in front of Aidan Bro. So Steve Haley on 105, Aidan Bro on 99, Carolis on 98, a single point behind Aidan. And on the benefit of the fact that Charlie Crossland provisionally has the final step on the rostrum, plus the fastest lap of the race, it puts him on 94 points. So I'm rather eagerly anticipating another explosion cloud, this time over Silverstone, and I'm sure it's going to be an absolute cracker for another 45-minute GT4 race.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And with the championship, as I was talking to Steve there, they start, rather than just looking at trying to win the race, they're now going to start looking at who's around them in the standings and see who's actually battling for the championship. And like you say there, it's not just a case of 1 or 2 drivers, it's 3, 4 and even 5 or 6 drivers, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Yannick Muller's gone up to 82 points, so that puts him a bit more into the thick of things. Adam Isolovic is there. Rich Smith dropping down all the way down out of the top 30 and having to park it. It's a real shame for Rich because he was in the sharp end of the grid after 2 rounds. But really, that's it from us here at Simsport Racing, the place to race. Don't forget to follow us on all our relevant social medias on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. If you want to be a part of the community, with over 600 members and climbing, and with fantastic races like the ones you've just seen, and what you're going to see on Sunday night, feel free to join us at simsport-racing.com. And firstly, we'd like to say a big thank you to our broadcast director once again, Mike Yao from simplyrace.co.uk. It's been a pleasure having them as always with us. And also, don't forget, we are the place to race. A big thank you from us here. And you can just sort of see our official website on your screen just now, so you can find out who the team is, including Steve Proudley, one of our founder members, Stephen Haley, who was 4th tonight, he's the server manager, Gavin Utley, Aaron Walker, all regular faces and names that you know, Dave Hedges, and then little old me down at the bottom right. But at the end of the day, it's a wonderful community here at Simsport Racing. We are the place to race. Steve, just your thoughts after what's been another cracker here in GT4. It just seems to get better. It's like a wine that gets finer the older it gets. It's like it gets finer with age.
Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, the community is collecting some very, very good drivers now, and we've just shown that this evening with some of the standards of racing. And as Carolis alluded to there, it doesn't matter where you are, you're battling with somebody, and it's usually a good close battle. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to Silverstone, mate, and bring it on. It can't come soon enough for me.
But before we head to the home of British Motorsport next Wednesday, we will head to the Ardennes Forest this coming Sunday, the 22nd of November, for the midway point of the ACC GT3 driver swap at Spa-Francorchamps. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope you all stay safe, stay healthy amidst these difficult times, and we'll see you Sunday evening. Thank you for watching. Good night.